be the lost boy running insane. I used to be the ghost boy looking for fame. I used to work so hard to get it, so hard to get it. I used to be the one living in the fast lane. I used to be the one who only cried in the rain. I used to work so hard to get it, and so hard to get it. And so hard to get it. I used to be the lost boy running insane. I used to be the ghost boy looking for fame. I used to work so hard to get it, so hard to get it. I used to be the one living in the fast lane. I used to be the one who only cried in the rain. I used to work so hard to get it, and so hard to get it. I used to be the lost boy running insane. Used to be the ghost boy looking for fame. I used to work so hard to get it. I used to be the one living in the fast lane. Used to be the one who only cried in the rain. I used to work so hard to get it. It's so hard to get it. And so hard to get it. I used to be the lost boy running insane. I used to be the ghost boy looking for fame. I used to work so hard to get it, so hard to get it. I used to be the one living in the fast lane. I used to be the one who only cried in the rain. I used to work so hard to get it, and so hard to get it. I used to be the lost boy running insane. Used to be the ghost boy looking for fame. I used to work so hard to get it.
Sometimes a minute takes days and feelings fade when you don't want them to. I hope you won't throw the blame my way, but if you do, oh.
What's up? How we doing? Hi, William. Yeah, I was muted. Thank you for that. Thank you for that comment. Appreciate you. Appreciate you a lot. Let's start from the beginning. I'm Donovan. Welcome back to the channel. As always, I'm your co-host of Miami Dolphins Syndicate, or now known as Dolphins Syndicate. My normal co-host, Jacob, for these streams, literally just got back from vacation like 30 minutes ago, so he's not going to be able to join us. I appreciate you, William. So I was talking about, we've been getting a lot of media attention this week so far after dropping 70. And I was saying, like, if you look at, the top 3 teams that are really getting attention right now, it's the Chiefs with the whole Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce thing. Then it's us with dropping 70 on the Broncos. Then it's kind of like the Broncos for getting 70 dropped on them. And then it's the Cowboys for losing to the Cardinals. And that's kind of a funny situation, real quick. Cowboys, week 1, absolutely destroyed, beating the Giants by 40, right? This is how funny the NFL is. The Giants the next week go in, they start losing to the Cardinals, and then they come back from like 20-something down and win that game. And then the next week, the Cardinals beat the Cowboys, who had just absolutely destroyed their first 2 opponents. So that's just how the NFL works. That's kind of funny. But anyways, back to what I was saying with how the media attention is going. The Bills have kind of flown under the radar this past week, even though they destroyed the 2-0 Commanders 37-3. And everybody's been talking about, the Commanders' offense has been rolling with Eric Bieniemy as their OC. Going over there, they have a ton of weapons. They have a really good trio with Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, and Curtis Samuel. Their backfield with Brian Robinson and Antonio Gibson is really good. And so they were able to shut them down, give them 3 points. 3 points. Now, given it was Sam Howell's 4th ever start, so, they gave him all kinds of trouble. 9 sacks, I believe that it was, as well as 4 interceptions. They were able to control that game entirely from top to bottom, the Bills were. And so going into this game, the Bills, it's kind of like, okay, the Dolphins are being talked about, all this, all that. How are they going to be a little bit more motivated by that? I mean, given you play professional football, you shouldn't have to have any extra thing that's really motivating. But, it could be an extra chip on their shoulder. There's that. Then, also, we're coming off this high of a 70-point win. Are we going to what's our mindset going to be like? Like, are we just that much better than every other team? Like, we didn't choose to humiliate the Broncos. That's just how it went. Given that, I'm taking that a little bit out of context. But are we kind of a little bit riding a high horse? Like, we're the best team in the league right now? And could we possibly take the Bills for granted? I don't think so. I think that this coaching staff is pretty well prepared all around. Mike McDaniel, as smart as he is, going to have a great game plan going into this. Injury status is real quick. Waddle returned to practice, full participant today. Cam Smith, not on the injury report. He was indeed a healthy scratch last weekend. However, Eric Ezukama popped up. It turns out he was not a healthy scratch from the game. He was dealing with a neck injury. Now, at first I was thinking, okay, he popped up on the injury report, neck injury. I'm thinking, okay, pinched nerve maybe in his neck. Woke up Sunday morning, probably just, couldn't turn all the way. So it's bothering him, so he probably couldn't play. But I'm thinking, okay, wait, it's Wednesday, and did not participate, not even limited. I figure, that long, he'd at least be limited. So hopefully it's nothing too significant for Eric Ezukama. Because we used him all over the place in the backfield. Savon Ahmed did return to practice today from his groin injury. It seems like the Dolphins are really being cautious with injuries. They let Waddle, fully heal from that oblique injury after his concussion, as well as go through concussion protocol really slowly. Jalen Phillips, with his back injury, they limited him a lot last week before he was able to play, even though he said he was good to go. And so that kind of brings us to today, where he has an oblique injury and Connor Williams has a groin injury. and they did not participate DMPs today in practice. And I'm thinking, okay, that's probably more of a probably more of a cautious thing. Like Teron Armstead also did not participate. So it's a whole bunch of like little things, right? That are like, okay, we're just gonna be cautious. I think the boy will be humble. I liked how all the players handled their press conferences, that it's just week 3 mentality. See, that's exactly it. Like a lot of Bills fans in particular, it wasn't really the Dolphins fans, it was more the Bills fans were like, oh, don't get too cocky now. Oh, they're gonna take the Bills for granted. The Bills just won 37-3. If you don't think the Dolphins noticed that and they were like, yo, damn, like that's a really good offense, and they just held them to 3 points. That's a good offensive line. Now, given I wouldn't say it's better than ours. I think ours has been significant, pretty damn good this year, honestly. But yeah, that's. I don't think we're gonna take them for granted. I think that they're gonna be well prepared for this game. Like you said, it's just week 3. It's a very long season, but I feel good. Like, given if you don't feel good right now, if you're nitpicking at certain things on this team, then you're just looking for something to be mad at. And I get it. It's the Dolphins. We haven't had success in over 20 years. We've won 1 playoff game since I was born. Like, I get it, guys. As much as, like, I'm the optimist. I am. But I'm like, okay, I see things for what they are. Craycraft also did not participate. They're debating whether or not to put him on IR at the moment, by the way, which is not a good thing. It's going to be interesting if that's the case, if we end up signing Robbie Chosen to the 53-man roster, or if we choose to just elevate someone else. There's also the possibility of Jeff Wilson coming back. Now, let me address Jeff Wilson real quick. So, we have Savon Ahmed, who's coming back from his injury. Devon Achane and Raheem Mostert absolutely showed out. Chris Brooks also showed out. Where does Jeff Wilson fit into this backfield when he comes back? Because he's not a fullback like Alec Ingold. He's not going to really do anything better than any other running back that we have on roster. He's not a pass catcher. He's not a route runner. He's not like he's okay fast, but he's not any faster than Chris Brooks. He's not younger like Chris Brooks. Yeah, 9 sacks isn't to sleep on. I think Washington's O-line is terrible, though. Hal has been running for his license week 1, but on par with the Jets O-line. Yeah, I would say that's pretty accurate statement there, William. I do. I haven't watched too much of the Commanders games. Now, I do have Brian Robinson in multiple fantasy leagues, but I don't know exactly where to put their offensive line, because I've seen some terrible offensive lines. Like the Vikings offensive line isn't that good. I would say it's probably on par with the Vikings. The Colts is actually a lot better this year, and they played well without Ryan Kelly. Baltimore's offensive line is good. Bengals offensive line is good. Chiefs offensive line is good. Our offensive line is good. Bills is like, It's like give or take any day. They could be good, they could be bad. They're very mid across the board. Nothing too significant about it. The main problem is going to be, so this was brought up on ESPN earlier by, I believe, Devin McCourty. Vic Fangio's defense has not really been able to stop Josh Allen. Now, I want to know that if he takes, Ryan Robinson should be a consistent 15, 20 point guy. Dude, Brian Robinson, so I wish I ran a fantasy channel. Like if I had the time, I would. I'd rather do Dolphin stuff. Brian Robinson, chef's kiss. 10th round pick in most leagues, probably further down than that. Dude, greatest 10th round draft pick. I actually got him in one league and then drafted DeAndre Swift after him. Like, come on now. You're just handing me the league. That was the same league I also had Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. So, yeah, I'm good. Anyways, back to Dolphin stuff. I forgot where I was. But yeah, so Dolphin, it's the Bills defense. Dolphins defense. How we're going to defend. How I want to see Vic Fangio. I'm a Bama fan, so I know my guys. Yeah, that's my boy. I want to see how Vic Fangio is able to adjust from how when he played Josh Allen in 2019-2020. When he played him in 2019-2020, he could not stop Josh Allen. Josh Allen went crazy on the Broncos defense. However, we've seen a significant difference in the defenses that he ran from the Broncos to the defenses that he runs with the Dolphins. Now, the Dolphins defense that he ran last week was like, it was a lot of bend, don't break, which absolutely, like, I lose my mind with that mentality. I really, really do. The bend, don't break stuff. But keeping everything in front of you, it allowed Javon Holland to get those 2 forced fumbles. And everything. It allowed... Sorry, people text me about fantasy stuff. I'm a bit... where was I? This is so much harder to do by yourself. Yeah. All right. So I think this game has been circled for Fangio since he got here. Honestly, I think this one, the Eagles game, and the Chiefs game are the top 3 that he has circled around, because it's going to be significant for him to I want to see how he adjusts, because we were able, with as bad as our defense was last year, and I finally found my train of thought. As bad as our defense was last year, we were able to slow Josh Allen down. We were able to get turnovers, and I can't stand the whole bend, don't break thing. But we're going to be able to keep stuff in front of us. That bend, don't break was able to help Javon Holland get those 2 forced fumbles. It was able to help us be able to get sacks without blitzing. Keeping everything kind of in front of you is great, and then it also allows you to dial up blitzes. Like, if you blitz so much, you're going to be liable for things to get caught underneath and ran for a significant amount of yardage, because you only have 1 or 2 guys that can really have an angle to go tackle the guy. Whereas if you have a little bit more guys, out back, keep everything in front of you, it's a lot harder in coverage, and you're able to get the sacks. So with how little he blitzes, you have a higher success rate with your blitz, which is really, like, really good. So that helped us get some sacks on Russ. Actually, do we sack? No, we did not sack Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson actually had a really good game, low key. Like, yeah, they only scored 13 points. That wasn't his fault. He didn't take a sack. He had the 1 interception on the goal line with Ogba, but that was just Ogba making a great play. Definitely, even though DQ from last year did a terrible job, he schemed it up well against the Bills. Yeah, exactly. Like, I think he meant DC there, but I know what you mean. DC. Yeah, Josh Boyer last year was horrible across the board, but he schemed up well with Josh Allen. Now, one thing that he did that significantly helped us, and this is the wrong game. Let me find the right game. I have some film I want to show you guys. We're gonna go to wild card round, Bills versus Dolphins. And one thing that he did, all 3 games that we played, it was a really close game every single time that we played them. But one thing that he did really well was he had Javon Holland as the QB spy, because with Josh Allen, he's so big that a corner can't keep up with him, or a corner can't tackle him. But he's so fast that a linebacker can't catch up to him. So having Javon Holland and Brandon Jones, and maybe Deshaun Elliott in this game, because Brandon Jones isn't as fast as he used to be as of right now. to have them be the spy, you have the safety with the size and the speed to go and be able to tackle this guy. Now, the first game we didn't really do it too well. The second and third game we had great adjustments with it. And let me see if I can find a play real quick. Oh, wait. Oops, let me not show you guys game film. We're going to go all 22. There we go. All 22 is a lifesaver. All right, this is our offense. Let me find defense. I'm gonna find it real quick, but I'll keep talking as I'm trying to find it. Javon Holland was able to be the QB spy. Oh, wait, is this it? All right, so I think this is it. So that time we had Baker as the QB spy, but earlier in that drive, of course, I show you guys the touchdown pass. Okay, so Tyndall real quick. Where are you? All right, Tyndall real quick. Tyndall, I wanted Tyndall to be able to do that last year. That was the main reason I think we drafted him, is because of his speed at the linebacker position and his sure tackling, was specifically for Josh Allen. Now, we didn't play him much at all last year, but I think maybe this year it could be a little bit different. He has the athleticism. I completely agree. Like, he has the athleticism. He has the size. He has the speed. He has everything that you need to be a QB spy, but maybe he doesn't have the instincts yet. It's also really hard for Vic Fangio to trust young guys. I was talking with, most definitely for Allen, yeah. I was talking last week after our stream with our Broncos Syndicate, brother channel, sister channel, whatever you want to call it. He had Fangio before, and I was like, yo, I don't think Fangio trusts these young guys, because we all saw how Eli Apple was just absolutely terrible week 2. Now, Eli Apple did not play or start, I should say. He didn't start in week 3. It was, they put Cater on the boundary, and then they moved, I think Justin Bethel and Elijah Campbell kind of juggled that slot spot. Now, you know, with that, I was like, and Cam Smith is a healthy scratch. I was like, yo, Cam Smith might be better for that, you know, particular defense. Like, I love Cater, but if you can have him in the slot and Cam Smith on the boundary, if Cam Smith's recovery speed is something else. Now, he may bite on a play or two, and maybe that's the whole bend don't break thing that Vic Fangio has instilled in this defense, which it's like, yeah, he'll make significant plays, but if he busts in coverage, that's the break that he doesn't want. Bend don't break. Baby stepping the new guys. And Tyndall, you know, meanwhile, he is a second-year player. He didn't play much at all last year. This is a brand new defense, and he's still super young. Like, he was also, what I think, our 5th round pick last year, 4th or 5th round pick last year. So it's baby steps, like you said, to get him in to this defense. Let me look. So you can see here, Holland was kind of spying that side. We saw, I believe that was Elijah Campbell. Is that Elijah Campbell? Oh, that was Cater. I forgot Cater wore 28. Look, Collins here. No spy. That was... that was the spy. 22 was the spy. So it's really... If you look, where are we? He comes up. He plays the middle zone. He's kind of the spy at that point. So a spy, technically speaking... Oh yeah, Cam is going to have a rookie mistake, but he's got to get them reps in to understand that. I completely agree. I'm with you on that. I say, you know, throw the guys into the fire, let them figure it out. Like, you're not going to be able to teach these guys significant improvements until they're out there getting reps. Kind of like the Colts, with Anthony Richardson. They're like, look, we're gonna play him as much as we can. Doesn't matter if he sucks, because he's our franchise guy. He needs to be able to go into the game so we can correct his mistakes. I don't think Tyndall has the ability to grasp concepts. I'm not saying he's dumb. I just don't think he's the brightest crayon on the box. So that's kind of my thing with a lot of different players. I think that was, like, you have hard workers and then you have lazy guys. I think if you're a hard worker, you can work your way into getting it. And I think Tyndall was a hard worker. He worked his way into getting playing time towards the end of last season, even though we had, I don't know, dude, last year Josh Boyer's player selection blew my mind. Like, I know you guys, Dolphin fans are happy to see Igbo gone, but Igbo would have been a significant upgrade over Keon Crossan last year. And so just, I don't know if maybe, Tyndall was that bad, or if our coaching staff was that bad on the defensive side of the ball. Now, I know Vic Fangio, he's super smart, but he just doesn't trust the young guys. He wants the guys that are able to grasp these new concepts, like kind of like what you said, in a really fast type of way. Like, it's only week 3 of the season. These guys have been here since April, whereas the other guys have been here since like January, since March, early March, and they're vets. They move around. They're able to get their, they already have that repetition of, okay, this is what the NFL is like versus this is what college is like. So it's a lot easier for them to transition from team to team, from concept to concept, than it is for the younger guys that haven't done it, for a number of years in the NFL. So I agree, maybe he's just not grasping the concept, but we also have a significantly better linebacker group than we had last year. So this year we're playing Andrew Van Ginkel a lot more, which I'm super happy to see. I'm happy that we're finally using him, because he's been such a diamond in the rough, and y'all finally got to see it on display in week 2. But I've been preaching about this, man. Even Jacob was like, bro, you're crazy. And then he finally saw it, and he's like, okay, yeah, I was wrong. He didn't even say I was right. He just said he was wrong. He won't ever say that I'm right. The Tyndall thing is, I like Noah. He just needed more reps. He's only been in DB since he came in the league. Igbo came to the league when he got drafted at 19 years old. Like, he is a super smart young guy. He was brought in extremely raw. So he was supposed to be a project guy that they can work on. And he was finally, making his way and doing good things. Last year, he had really good games against the Steelers. And what was the other couple games that he played? The Steelers one really stood out, but the other games that he played well. In training camp, he was balling out. He had one bad preseason game where he kind of went back to his tendencies. I'm talking about a guy that's not even on the Dolphins, but kind of went back to his tendencies of playing a little bit soft, which is what I didn't like about Eli Apple. He kind of plays soft and tentative, and that's why I rather have Bethel. I'd rather have Cam Smith. I'd rather have Elijah Campbell play that slot. Like what we've done with Van Ginkel, I've been hoping he would get the notice that he deserves. He wasn't played in the right position last year. Very misused. He was just misused. Like, he can play everywhere on this field. He's decent in coverage. He's not good. I would say Duke Riley's a little bit better in coverage. Same with so Baker, good in coverage, but he never gets his head around. That's his problem. That's why he always gets stuff caught over him. Similar to Igbo, once again. In Igbo's, I think, first or second year, good coverage, but he never got his head around, so there was always a ball that was caught over him because he would never get his head around. So yeah, it was pretty bad. Van Ginkel this year, though, he's being used everywhere on the field. He can be used in the middle. He could be used on the edge. And that's the thing. They're getting him the reps where, like, okay, he may not be better in the middle than David Long or Jerome Baker. He may not be better on the edge than Chubb and Jalen Phillips. But when those guys are getting rest, you throw Van Ginkel in there, and he's just freakish. He's a thumper, man. We need that. Exactly. He can go anywhere on the field, and he's a sure tackler, and he won us the game against the Patriots, if we're being honest here. That when the big guy got the ball in his hands after Gesicki lateraled it to him, Van Ginkel went in and he grabbed the ball. And what that forces guys, especially guys that are what that does is it forces guys that are specifically guys that are not true ball carriers like offensive linemen, when they feel the ball is trying to be taken from them, they kind of hug it and then fall forward. So instead of kind of like trugging through forward, which he could have done when he had the ball slightly taken away, he tucked and ducked. And that's what had him that close to a first down, but he ended up being short, and the Dolphins won the game. Yeah, bro, his football IQ is so underrated. So underrated. That play right there, going after the ball instead of going after the tackle, helped us win the game. Now, I don't know if they would have won it regardless, because they would have had to drove down the field and get a touchdown and blah, 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 blah. They probably wouldn't have done it, but that just sealed the game right then, right there, and I'm happy with that. So it's going to be interesting what we're going to be doing against Josh Allen this week, because could we use Channing Tindall? Could we use David Long? Could we use Jerome Baker? Could we use Brandon Jones, he's been getting a little bit more reps, but could we use him? Could we use Javon Holland, who's been absolutely fantastic? He's the highest graded safety in the league right now per PFF. Could he be used as a spy? It's going to be really interesting, because I know Vic Fangio has something schemed up for him. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do against Josh Allen. Now, offensively and defensively for the Bills, how are they going to play against our defense or our offense? Because now we have Waddle back. Devon Achane just had a breakout game. Mostert looked still fantastic. We might get Savon Ahmed back, which, if you guys did not know, Savon Ahmed, specifically in Buffalo, is probably the single best running back I've ever seen. It's like Boston Scott against, who's it Boston Scott always goes off against? Is it the Commanders or the Giants? I want to say it's the Giants. Boston Scott always goes off against the Giants. Savon Ahmed in Buffalo is the single best running back I've ever seen. Like, obviously I'm exaggerating the hell out of that, but every single time he plays in Buffalo, you just see that man run for like 30, 40 yards at a time. Like, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. He's just nonstop. So if he's able to play this game, I suspect he will play. Now, it's going to be interesting how the Dolphins, draw up having three good running backs like that. I think Savon Ahmed kind of falls behind a little bit, specifically because of his groin injury, but also because of how well Devon Achane played. Like, the dude just rushed for 200 yards. You can't bench him. Bills right tackle is suspect. I think Gink and Holland are going to chew the right side up. I think you are correct. I do foresee us doing a lot of DB blitzes. And by a lot, I mean probably throw in 10% DB blitzes. Out of all the blitzes that we run, I think 10% is going to be DB. Because we don't typically run a lot of DB blitzes. And it's going to be weird. I don't know how we're going to play this. Because do we have X shadow Stephon Diggs? Because Vic Fangio has kind of been reluctant to have X shadow anybody. And, I would say right now I trust Cater as much as I trust X to cover Stephon Diggs. But last time he didn't do jack against Stephon Diggs, and Gabe Davis could not get open against Cater. So that leaves, you have Dalton Kincaid to worry about now. Dawson Knox was always open against us, and he ate us up. So that's going to be really interesting kind of to see in there. We got to hit Allen. That's when he starts making mistakes. 100%. 100%. You saw how he was against the Jets. The Jets had him rattled. He looked absolutely terrible. Then what happened the next week? Who'd they play in week 2? Does anybody know who the Bills played in week 2? I know last week they played the Commanders, and they were just able to, they just sat back and did their thing. Trying to remember. I remember him being very mobile in that game, but like side to side, not like east and west. He wasn't really north to south. He wasn't trying to run him over like he typically does. I agree. Got to get to him early and often. Raiders. Okay, yeah. So they had Max Crosby on one side, and that was basically it. That's why I remember him going side to side, because he was always running from Max Crosby. Yeah, so they really couldn't get to him because of his mobility. It's just a thing. So you have to play contain. And one thing the Dolphins do really well with their defensive line is Phillips and Chubb. If Phillips is going to be ready to go, I think he will be. I think that oblique injury is not going to stop him. Having Phillips and Chubb just wrap around, force Josh Allen to step up in the pocket, and then have a linebacker there or a safety spying on him, and that way he can't take off. And if he does, it's north to south. You're not going to get many yards. You're going to have to run through me. Now, given he definitely can run through you. He is a very large human being and very strong human being. YouTube done. 4 fingers elsewhere. Phillips, not Holland. I think I knew what you meant. But I do think that we're going to send Holland on some blitzes. I do think that we're going to be sending Deshaun Elliott on some blitzes. You're good. What's up, Raphael? 4 fingers elsewhere. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, but back to our offensive side of the ball. What they're going to do defensively, so they've run this same defense for 7 years now, I believe. And they have really good communication across the board with all of their defensive backs. Taylor Rapp has been playing really good. Obviously, they have Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. I believe both of them were do not participate in practice today, along with their slot corner, Taryn. I forgot his last name. I don't think we're going to blitz Holland due to Diggs. See, Diggs isn't a guy that's like a vertical threat anymore, though. And so I think Holland is more. I think Holland's going to be more used to contain Josh Allen more than anything. But their DBs have really good communication, so they're going to be well set in what they do. Now, one thing that Tua said in his press conference today is like, look, 89% of the time, he didn't say this particularly, I'm kind of making up. He said a lot of the time, they're going to show you what they're going to do. Now, sometimes they won't show you what they're going to do, but most of the time, they're just going to line up in what they're going to do and play football. And so it's kind of like, we're this good, come beat us kind of thing. But on the other hand, the Dolphins are that good and can beat that, especially with how quick Mike McDaniel this year is getting the play calls in. Tua is able to get to the line with 15 plus seconds left, and he's able to go look at the defense, make the adjustments that he needs to make. Last year, they were breaking the huddle at 8-9 seconds left on the play clock, and so he couldn't really sit there and look at the defense. It was hurry up, get to the line, get set, and let's get this snap off. It's not like that this year. We're able to read a defense, or Tua is able to read a defense and see what they need to do and, do what he needs to. We got the Bills number. They're going to be focused more on beat them last year. McDaniel's already schemed up different plays for the same look. Yeah, bro, Mike McDaniel is a genius. And I cannot say this enough. He is a genius. He's going to beat you in every which way possible. He's going to be able to get his guys open. There's especially having all these guys. If we have Ahmed back, we'll be having Ahmed line up in the slot. If Eric Ezukanma is ready to go, Eric Ezukanma lines up in the backfield. Devon Achane can line up anywhere on the field. Mostert can line up anywhere on the field. Tyreek can line up anywhere on the field. Waddle can line up anywhere on the field. Like we have positionless guys. Like, if you, this is what the new NFL is. This is what the revolutionary offense is. These guys are all fast, all good route runners, all have good hands. They all can play anywhere. That's why joking about hand, thumbs, and fingers. Get on the hand. Where's it? Oh, okay. I get it now. So it was funny. So Tua mentioned that. He's like, has that ever been done in the NFL before, where you go throw two with each hand? Because he didn't even really think about, like, the reporters had to point out to him that he threw two with each hand. He's like, I didn't even think about, throwing with my right hand, because he doesn't throw anything with his right hand. All he does is bat right-handed. Tua reads the defense pre-snap because of the information gained from previous snaps of the same look. Yeah, dude, Tua is so smart. He's able to process things so fast. So that's what makes him and McDaniel such a good match. That's why Greer is an absolute, like, whatever you got to say about Greer, whatever you got to say about the 2020 draft class. Yeah, Tua is a righty, but he all he does is right with his right and bat with his right. Like, everything else he does left-handed. And motioning, like, area ball, not running forward full speed sideways. I don't think they can. I think they may ban the tush push, like that particular formation. Like, obviously you can actually, technically speaking, I don't think they can ban that formation, because that's also, so what the Eagles did with the tush push formation is it's a victory formation, but they just push you. So yeah, I knew what you meant, Raphael. But with that, it's kind of just like, get better. Like, the NFL wants to see good offense. Now, having all those motions and everything pre-snap, like, you're only able to have one guy move at a time, or one guy move at the snap. If you have two guys moving at the snap, it's an illegal shift, illegal formation. But if you have two guy or one guy motioning at the snap, like, that's just what it is. I don't think they're going to ban that, because I think it makes offenses so good, and having good offenses is what sells tickets. Having good offenses is what sells views. That's what sells products. Like, the Dolphins would not be as good as they are without these motions, and without them, I mean, it's just going to be hectic. Now, hey, just get better. That's all. That's pretty much what Philly fans are saying about banning the tush push. We did have a pick play against our D in the end zone. Rest did not call. Rest did call or did not call. Oh yeah. I know the one you're talking about. But yeah, pick plays are different. They had to ban that because that's, you're basically throwing a pick, as in, like, basketball terms, literally blocking the defender from being able to cover. So that's why it's illegal to run those. Now, you have to kind of run it in a, you can still run it, but you have to run it in a way in which they're blocking your true route rather than you're running into them, just like purposefully. Like, if they made no effort to get out of your way, that's on them. But if they made an effort to get out of your way and you still ran through them, and you kind of made an effort to go and block them, then that's what they're gonna call. Yeah, so I don't see how they're gonna be able to stop us offensively. Like, yeah, we may beat ourselves. They may get a good pass rush here and there and have good coverage on a couple of plays, but I still think that this offense against their defense is gonna be putting up, I'm going to say this every game. Every single game, they're going to be putting up at least 28, probably 30. At least 28, probably 30 every single game against any defense in this NFL. I don't think there's a single defense in this NFL, or in the NFL, that will hold us to less than 28 points. I don't. The 49ers, the Eagles, the Bills, it doesn't matter. I don't think there is a single defense in the NFL that can hold us, while fully healthy, to 28 points. We're going to score 4 touchdowns on your head it don't matter. The question is that can we? I'm worried about the injury report. Center, defensive end, tight end. I think Smythe will be fine. He was able to return to the game last game. Center, I'm a little bit worried about, but I was, they were saying that they're optimistic. I think they're just being cautious with him and Jalen Phillips with not participating today. I think that's kind of just like, okay, look, it's a muscle. We need to take a day to relax, take a day to kind of work through the muscle and get it healthy again, so that way you don't re-injure it. New England 24 the week before. I mean, that's still we scored 24. We scored 4 times, and that was really, we beat ourselves. If you really think about it, we beat ourselves. This isn't okay. We're not talking about the game last year, 20-17 Dolphins versus Bills. We're not talking about the game last year, unless that's your score prediction. But this offense is rolling differently than it was against New England. Like we were able to play this completely differently, and we had 2 more explosive running backs than what we did against New England. New England, we weren't getting the rushing lanes open as much, and they played the 3 high safety look. So if you're gonna sit there and play 3 high safety look the entire time, now we only punted once against New England. Oh, that's your prediction. Okay. We only punted once against New England. We took a significant amount of time off the clock with how much we ran the ball. And with Devon Achane now in there, and you able to kind of like swap those guys in and out, it's going to be a significant difference. Devon Achane brings that next level to this offense. Like, yeah, we already had, everything that we wanted in that game, and we took it easy on them. We ate the clock up. But when you have, and we weren't that aggressive that game either, because we were up the majority of the game by, I think we were up 2 scores the majority of the game. Then they scored the touchdown to bring it within 7. I'm thinking anyway. I'm not 100% sure, so don't take my word for the Bible. Bills clearly have the better front 7 that faced previous teams. I don't necessarily think that's true. I don't necessarily think that's true. I think the front 7 of the Patriots is just as good, if not better. I like, okay, Bills have bigger names, but the Patriots, I mean, they're the Patriots. The Patriots always have a top 5 defense. So there's that. I just don't see it being that way. I don't. My Alexa tried talking to me there. Don't know what that was about. That was weird. Where was I? Oh yeah, I don't think the Bills, their front 7 is good, don't get me wrong, but they're not going to, if they try to play 3 high safety on us and just rush their 4, we're going to beat them with the run game. We're going to beat them with the screens. We're going to beat them underneath. But if they play the run, then we're going to beat them with Tyreek Hill. We're going to beat them with Jalen Waddle. We're going to beat them with Braxton Berrios. We're going to beat them with Eric Ezukama. Like, we're going to beat them with these guys. I would have said River Craycraft, but he's probably not going to play. Like, we could take the top off any defense unless they put an umbrella like the Patriots did. And when you put that umbrella, it opens up the run game. They're not going to be able to stop us. They're not. Now, this is very comparable front 7 to the Patriots. I wouldn't say that they're better, but I wouldn't say that they're worse. I would say it's very comparable. Maybe they have a better day. Maybe they have a worse day. Floyd, defensive end, is a fast around the corner. Yeah, but Teron Armstead's probably going to play. Austin Jackson has looked really good this year. My only real concern is if Liam Eichenberg is forced to play center. Now, he didn't necessarily do a bad job at center towards the end of the Broncos game. But, I mean, he didn't really have to block too much. And he had high snaps, but nothing that was like over the head or too low or caused a fumble or whatever. So he's going to get a lot of reps at that this week while Connor Williams is recovering. But, you know, Connor Williams definitely better in the middle. I think there was one or two plays that we got blown up in the backfield towards, again, it was our backups, so who cares? But we got blown up in the backfield on run plays, and it was because of Liam Eichenberg kind of not whiffing on a block, but like when you're not a natural center, right? You're focused on making sure the snap isn't bad. When you're focused on making sure the snap isn't bad, then you end up being a tad late to your blocks. So if the guy in front of you gets a good jump on your snap and you're a tad late to the block, he's going to go right around you. X got burnt multiple times on broken plays. It's weird, right? So X has been very weird lately, right? He'll have good reps where he's just glue. Like if you guys remember the Steelers game last year, and they're like, why aren't they throwing it to Deontay Johnson? And then they showed X on Deontay Johnson. That's why they're not throwing him the ball, is because he was track back block flag. Don't know which particular one you're talking about. But then X has plays like where he let Cortland Sutton take it across. The plays he gets burnt on are mostly inside Apple as well. Apple, I'm not a fan of Apple at all. I think he plays way too tentative, way too soft in coverage, and he lets the ball get to the receiver and then tries to knock the ball away as he's tackling them, and I think that's how he ends up getting burnt. Oh. Whatever. Flag on the Eichenberg Center. Okay. Yeah, if Eichenberg has to start this week, I'll be a little bit worried. But as of right now, they're talking about Connor Williams probably going to play. So I'm not as concerned right now. That's just my 2 cents of it. I won't be concerned until I have a reason to be concerned. That's my thinking right now. And I think, it's gotta like take a breath. Like we are the best team in the NFL right now. We are. Hands down the best team in the NFL. I don't care that it was the Broncos and their defense sucks and whatnot. We held the Broncos offense, which isn't bad, to 13 points. They got the kickoff return for a touchdown, big whoop. We held their offense to 13 points. That is not a bad offense. Now, what we did is that we were so good offensively is that we made them one-dimensional on that side of the field. Now, if we can even do the slightest bit of that against the Bills, if we can go up 10-0, if we can go up 14-0, then that will play a significant difference into how this game plays out. But even then, if it's just back and forth, 7-7, 14-14, 21-21, and I do think it's going to be a close game. Don't get me wrong. We're going into Bills territory, but this also isn't going to be like the normal time that we go against the Bills in Buffalo. Right now, it's going to be mid to upper 60s, maybe low 70s, and sunny. Russell Wilson did have over 300 yards. Yeah, but we that was the bend don't break thing that I was saying earlier, that like it blows my mind that people actually still do this in the NFL, which is Vic Fangio's defense. We're going to give up a lot of yards, but points is what matter. And we stopped them from getting points. If we are able to let Buffalo go down to the 35, right? And we hold them to field goals every time, I don't care if we give up 400, 500 yards. Buffalo scores 15 points off of 5 field goals. Don't care. That's what I care more about, points, than I do yards. And that's kind of the bend don't break thing. Like, I don't like it, but it works for a reason. Because when they get down to the red zone, they tighten up their defense and they're able to play. So why defenses are a lot better in the red zone than they are through the rest of the field is the fact that now the offense only has this much of the field to work with versus this much of the field to work with. So you're not able to run as many routes, concepts, or as many different scheme things, and it's a lot harder to do improvised plays, like when he rolls out of the pocket and hits Stephon Diggs. Now, given he does that very well in the red zone because he's able to pump fake and then just bulldoze through you to get into the end zone. But that's where the QB spy comes into place and stuff like that. But that's the whole mentality behind bend don't break, because if you give them less field to work with, it's a lot easier for your defense to step up. So it's getting around that time. I'm going to go ahead and give my final thoughts and then my score prediction. So my final thoughts really, or my key guys to the game. So I think a significant factor in this game is going to be Jalen Waddle on the offensive side of the ball. I think if he's able, I think they're going to try to double cover Tyreek. I think Waddle ends up being the guy that, okay, this is who we have to go to this game. Him and then kind of Devon Achane, Raheem Mostert, those three. That's going to be a key factor on what he can do offensively. And then on the other side of the ball, I think it's going to be Xavier Howard. I think if he has a good day against Stephon Diggs, which has a good track record against Stephon Diggs. That was kind of a broken play. That was a broken play. I'm not really gonna put that on X. It was a broken play. That was like 15 seconds into the play. I'm not gonna put that on X. He had really good coverage before that. It was just a really good play by Russell Wilson. Back to Xavier Howard. He's going to be the X factor on the defensive side of the ball. If he can cover Stephon Diggs and do it well, then that's going to limit them a lot on offense. Kind of like what happened. I mean, every time we played them, it's always a close game. And it always ends up being, okay, can X cover Stephon Diggs, or does Stephon Diggs get the better of X? The first time we played them last year, X was all over them, and we got the dub. The second and third time, X got beat a couple of times towards the end of the game, and then it was also just a really good play by the Broncos and Russell Wilson. It was just a really good play. So I can't give. Plus, we were at that point, we were up. Actually, we were only up 14-7 after that. But regardless, who cares? I mean, obviously I care, but like it was a broken play. Russell Wilson made a good play. Sometimes you just gotta be like, okay, good play, and that's just play on. But yeah, so the last 3 games, or the 3 games last year, the first game we got the better of them. And you saw X didn't really give anything to Stephon Diggs. The second and third game, towards the end of the game, Stephon Diggs got a couple of good catches over X towards the end of the games. And that's pretty much what ended up being the difference maker. So X is my defensive X factor. Jalen Waddle, my offensive X factor. How I think this game is going to go, I think it's going to be very back and forth. I do think that our defense ends up holding them to a field goal one too many times. And this game ends up being, I'm going to go ahead and say 35-31 in the favor of the Dolphins. 35-31. That's my prediction, and I'm sticking to it. With Josh Allen throwing an interception on the last drive of the game. All right, guys. Well, hope y'all enjoyed the stream. It was my first time doing this by myself. Normally I have Jacob with me. Like I said, he just got back from vacation. He actually called me during the stream. I don't think he realized I was streaming. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my explanation of what might go on in the game. I will be throwing out some different previews as well as the keys to the game on Sunday at 12 p.m., an hour before kickoff. So make sure y'all stick around for my keys to the game then. All right, y'all. Have a good one. Deuces.